Guess who just ruined their $300 set of spec detail lights that I just had on my STI for less than 3 weeks? If you guys watched the previous video, we were trying to do two things. We were trying to correct the ugly lenses we had on them. I did mention that I bought these previously used. And the second thing is we were trying to eliminate these red reflectors here located inside of the housing. So we were going to split them open. I also tried watching YouTube videos as well as TikToks to see where the cut line was going to be, and I failed miserably. As you guys can see, I think there's a portion, there's a portion of the lens still stuck onto the tail light itself, but we did learn because right here on the side, I do have my OEM tail light split open. It is actually really straightforward. I'm gonna give you guys a step-by-step tutorial on how to do that. We're going to also paint the housing on the inside, get rid of the chrome, and it's going to give it a nice, deep, dark red cherry look. Let's get started and get into the video. All right, so here is my OEM tail light completely put together. You see these 5 screws all the way around? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to remove them first. I'm using a drill here because I'm lazy and I want to get things done fast, but a normal screwdriver like a Phillips works just as well. It's just going to be a little bit slower. After we get the 5 screws out, we're ready to move on to the next step. Something I should have mentioned way earlier on in the video is safety first. Because we're working with a rotary tool, pieces of plastic are going to be flying everywhere, so I recommend you guys picking up some safety glasses and a face mask, just because the safety glasses aren't going to be enough. Now, as far as the tools go, you can use a Dremel or rotary tool like I am, or you can opt in and spend the $300 to $400 for an ultrasonic cutter. Now, if I were to do this all over again, I highly recommend picking up the ultrasonic cutter, just because it's going to be less mess and you're going to get a cleaner cut. Coming up here shortly, I'm about to pause the video because I'm going to show you guys one of the mistakes I made. For some reason, I made it on this tail light, but not the other. So as I'm cutting, I'm following the red path, but you're supposed to be following the green path. You want to cut around the hole where that screw goes. After this, it's pretty much smooth sailing from here. Just make sure to take your time with the rotary tools just so you don't make a mistake like I did. Now, I'm going to leave the rest of this video playing with some background music just so you guys can see exactly where I'm cutting and you guys feel 100% confident when doing this at home. I don't think I've seen any tutorial of opening the 2015 tail lights on YouTube to this extent. So if this video helped you out in any way, please consider leaving me a like, as it really helps out the channel, and consider subscribing if you like this type of content. I'm trying to build a car community of people that help each other out. I just happen to post content about my STI. If you guys made it this far into the video, please let me know down below in the comments what your favorite car is, and I'll be happy to reply to each of those comments. We just finished our first go around with the Dremel all the way around the tail light, so here is just a close-up of exactly where I cut all the way around the tail light, just so you guys don't make any mistakes. I left this clip in to show you guys not to freak out if for some reason after you made all the cuts, the back housing is not separating from the front lens. All it means is that you need to take the Dremel and make some minor adjustments and some cuts again. It just probably wasn't deep enough in some areas. Just be patient and take your time. Now that we got the back housing out of the way, we can grab our Phillips screwdriver one more time because we're gonna have to remove 3 Phillips screws holding that circuit card in place. Once those screws are out, that circuit card just falls out and we can start accessing the rest of the stuff in the tail light. This is when I realized I can't even continue taking the tail light apart because I didn't properly cut it to begin with. So hopefully you guys paid attention earlier in the video where I showed you my mistake, because now I'm having to go back and fix my mistake. Is this a big deal? No, it's just a minor inconvenience. I was still able to put my tail light back together just fine. It just took a little bit more effort and time. Now we can take everything else out of the tail light and start disassembling everything else further. I'm gonna contradict myself here and tell you guys not to do what I did in this video. Do not use a screwdriver or pliers to squeeze these tabs together, because when you're squeezing the tabs together, especially with a metal object, as you can imagine, you're risking these tabs breaking, and once they break, I'm telling you guys, you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to reassemble everything. So I don't recommend using it. Just use your fingers to squeeze these tabs together to separate these plastic pieces. It actually took me a lot longer than I expected to separate everything, but the good news is we didn't break any tabs, so we can move on to the next step. This chrome housing is actually one of the things we're gonna be painting, and it's gonna completely change the way the taillights look. So we have already started to paint a portion of the housings black with that trim and bumper paint I previously used. We are also going to paint the outside portion as well, these chrome pieces. Then we can go ahead and start putting things together.
We are just about ready to put everything back together. It's been about an hour since these have been sitting, and I think the sun's definitely been helping them bake, so that's always good. The lenses are right above me right now, sitting, and they're pretty much drying. Let's go ahead and start reassembling everything.
Now for the fun part, we get to reassemble everything. I recommend you waiting at least 48 hours before handling anything you painted, just so you let it properly cure. It depends on the temperature and the humidity and other factors like that. I actually waited about 2 to 3 hours before putting things back together, and it was just fine. I was just super careful, and I had latex gloves on to try to avoid any smudges or fingerprints onto the paint. As far as reassembly goes, I know there are multiple different ways to reassemble this thing. This is just the way I did it. I start off by grabbing the C-light looking thing and making sure it's tabbed in properly to the plastic housing. Then, because I know I'm not taking this taillight back apart ever again, I grab the plastic welder and start melting those tabs onto the body itself. Now we can move on to the next plastic piece, which happens to be the taillight's reflector, I believe. It sits directly below the C-light, and again, we do the same thing with the C-light. We make sure that reflector is tabbed in properly. Then I go ahead and melt those tabs onto the body with my plastic welder. That step is not necessary. I'm just doing it because I know I'm not taking this taillight back apart, and I want to make sure things are properly installed and not going anywhere. Moving on to the third and final piece of plastic here, which sits on another plastic housing. This piece is really interesting. I believe this is the reflector that sits on the side of the taillight. So if you were looking at the rear quarter panel, you'd be staring right at this thing. Now this piece doesn't really tab in anywhere. You have these little black squares, which essentially are 3M tape that help this reflector sit onto this housing. So make sure things are aligned and just apply some light pressure, and you're pretty much all set. Now we can grab the plastic housing we were messing with earlier on in the video. It's the one that has that lens that's shaped like a C, along with the reflector that sits directly underneath it. Now we can turn it around and get ready to reinstall the circuit board onto the back of the housing. This circuit board is held on by 3 screws we removed earlier on in the video. You have 3 holes you have to line up, and once they're lined up, grab those screws and reinstall them onto the back of the housing. This ensures the circuit card is not going anywhere. And if you're wondering, this circuit card is actually what turns on our taillights, and it's what gives the V8 chassis that distinct C-light pattern in the taillights itself. Now grab that other housing and reinstall it as well. I like to think of this as the taillight's little hat. So we're putting the hat onto the taillight here, and once you do that, you're pretty much almost done. As far as installing the second housing, which is the housing that sits on the side of the taillight, I recommend you install it directly into the lens, just like I'm showing you here in this video. Why? It's because when you grab the housing that's directly to my right and you reinsert everything, it's going to make your life a lot easier and things just directly bolt up. Now that everything's seated, we can grab our drill or screwdriver and grab those 5 screws we removed earlier on in the video and reinstall them into the back of the housing. And congrats, you're almost done, and this is what the taillight looks like.
We are just about done. As you guys can see, we still have to fill that giant crack all the way around, and we're going to be doing that with some Permatex black sealant. This is definitely helpful, and after that we're going to use the plastic welder down there, and that should seal everything up.
So I've actually never used Permatex or a caulk gun, but it's not too hard. We're going to do 2 passes around to make sure the taillight is sealed up all the way. After it starts drying a bit, I'm going to grab the plastic welder to melt the plastic together to ensure a stronger seal. So it's actually been a couple weeks since I recorded this video, and I'm trying to get through all the footage I've recorded for the next upcoming videos for you guys. And I'm happy to say that these taillights are holding up great after weeks. I've actually washed my car maybe 3 to 4 times since then, and no water or condensation has affected the taillights in any way. So as long as you follow this tutorial, you guys should be all set.
What's up, guys? It is the next day, and we are over here in the Inland Empire. We are about 20 minutes away from a shop called Aristocrat Auto. We're gonna pick up a new third brake light. The taillights are already on the Subaru. I will wait to show you guys once I get home. They look freaking awesome. Right now, I am just putting gas. And to be honest, I've had such a rough night. I work overnight, and it's just been a whole ordeal. I've had 1 hour of sleep in the past 24 to 36 hours. So I'm sorry if I don't seem that enthusiastic. I am just so tired, mentally, physically drained. But anyway, I know you guys don't care about any of that. And yeah, hopefully we pick up some other goodies while we're there at the shop, but who knows? Just got home, and here it is. This is the SubiSpeed third brake light. So let's open it up. I already took the actual brake light out of the little bag, so here it is in all its glory. Here is the existing wiring instructions, T-tap connectors, everything you're gonna need. And that's pretty much it. This is what we drove all the way to the Inland Empire for, about an hour and 40 minutes away. So I was a little worried at first because of the look. It looked a little cheap, but I think it's going to look great on the car. I have faith, as well as these connectors. It's a little sketchy. I am only really familiar with the OLM third brake light, so got everything we're gonna need, some wire cutters and crimpers here, and just in case I need to cut even more. I do apologize for the noise, there is a lot of stuff going on around me, so let's try to go ahead and install this. See how simple or complicated this is. Connect same color wire harness tightly. Yellow wire connects to the brake light. Red wire connects to tail light position, and black wire connects to ground. Okay, this looks doable. All right, let's head outside and go to the car.
So the set of wires that I have in my hand here are for the third brake light plug and play harness I previously already had in the car. I thought this was where you tap in because you want this to work off of the tail light, which the harness piggybacks off of. All I'm doing here is cutting into the set of wires where the smaller pigtail connector is. Once we have these wires exposed, which are the blue, red, and black wires, I'm going to use the same tool to cut some of the plastic colored shielding off. That way we have more exposed wiring because we're going to be needing it. This kit came with a connector that's kind of like a T-tap connector. Essentially, you have an interface, which is what the red looking thing in my hand is. You connect the corresponding colors on the screen together on the opposite ends with a metal plate that connects both of them. That metal piece is the conduit, ensuring both cables have a connection since it's electricity and the conduit is metal here. And here it is, guys. This is my OEM Plus look. My custom taillights, they look freaking awesome. And I think the third brake light just gives it that final touch that makes it look perfect.
That's gonna be the new taillights on the STI, the OEM Plus look I was going for, and I think the third brake light really adds the final touch to it. I think it looks great. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one.